"We need real musicians," club owners said. "Come back when you have a band." But Madonna couldn't afford a band, she could barely afford to eat. So she came up with a different plan. She'd record her own backing tracks on cassette tapes and sing over them live. It wasn't ideal, but it was something. Now she just needed someone to give her a stage. Danceteria was a small club in Lower Manhattan, known for giving unknown artists a chance. The club's DJ and talent coordinator was a 28-year-old named Mark Cummins. Madonna started showing up at Danceteria every single night. "Give me one chance," she'd say to Mark. "One show. That's all I need. What can you even do?" Mark finally asked after weeks of this. "Give me a microphone and find out." Mark kept saying no. Madonna kept showing up. For 3 months straight, she was there every night, dancing in the crowd, talking to Mark during his breaks, making it impossible for him to forget her. Finally, in December 1982, Mark gave in. "Fine. Saturday night. You get one set. Don't embarrass me." Madonna smiled. "I won't." December 18, 1982. Saturday night at Danceteria. It was a slow evening. Only 47 people were in the club. Madonna stood backstage in ripped jeans, a torn t-shirt, and cheap jewelry she'd bought from street vendors. Her hands were shaking as she held her cassette player. She had recorded the backing track for her original song, "Everybody in a Friend's Apartment," using borrowed equipment. The sound quality was rough, but it was hers. No band, no backup singers, no safety net, just Madonna, a cassette player, and a microphone. "You're on," Mark said. Madonna walked onto the small stage. The crowd barely noticed. People kept talking, ordering drinks, ignoring the girl with the cassette player. Madonna grabbed the microphone. "Hi, I'm Madonna." Someone in the crowd yelled. "Who cares?" Madonna paused. Then she smiled. That fierce, fearless smile that would become her signature. "You will." She pressed play on the cassette player. The synthesizer beat of "Everybody" filled the small club. Madonna started singing, her voice raw but powerful, and began to dance. For the first 30 seconds, nothing happened. People kept talking. Some walked to the bar. A few glanced at the stage with mild curiosity. December 1982. A 23-year-old girl stood backstage at a nearly empty New York club, clutching a cassette player with shaking hands. She had no band, no backup singers, no safety net, just a homemade recording and the kind of confidence that looks like insanity until it works. 47 people were about to witness the birth of the biggest female star in music history. They just didn't know it yet. 5 years earlier, in 1977, Madonna Louise Ciccone stepped off a Greyhound bus at Port Authority with $35 in her pocket and one small suitcase. She was 19 years old, fresh from Michigan, and had exactly 0 connections in New York City. Her taxi driver that first night asked where she wanted to go. "Take me to the center of everything," she said. He dropped her in the middle of Times Square, took her money, and drove away. Madonna stood on that corner, surrounded by chaos, prostitutes, drug dealers, flashing lights, and screaming sirens. This was 1970s New York, filthy and dangerous and alive. "Welcome to New York, kid," a stranger said as he walked past. Madonna smiled. This was exactly where she needed to be. The next 5 years were brutal. Madonna did whatever it took to survive. She worked at Dunkin' Donuts until she got fired for being rude to customers. She posed nude for art classes at $10 an hour. She picked through dumpsters behind restaurants when money ran out. She lived in a $200 a month studio apartment with 2 other people. But every morning, she went to dance class. Every night, she went to clubs with homemade demo tapes, begging anyone who'd listen to give her a chance. Bartenders, DJs, club owners, musicians. The answer was always the same. "No, you're a dancer, not a singer. Your voice isn't special. These songs are terrible. Stick to what you know." Madonna kept showing up anyway. Because she knew something they didn't, she wasn't going to be denied. By 1980, Madonna realized dancing wasn't enough. She needed to make music. She saved for 2 months and bought a cheap guitar from a pawn shop for $75. She taught herself to play, wrote simple songs, and tried to book gigs anywhere that would have her. Nobody would. Then Madonna hit the first chorus and threw her whole body into a spin. The energy shifted. A few people stopped talking and turned to watch. By the second verse, 10 people had moved onto the small dance floor. Madonna wasn't just singing, she was performing with every cell in her body, dancing, engaging the crowd, making eye contact, demanding attention. The crowd began to respond. More people started dancing. The energy was building. Then disaster struck. Halfway through the song, the microphone cut out. The backing track kept playing from the cassette, but Madonna's voice was gone. The crowd groaned. Someone booed. This was the moment that could have ended everything. Madonna could have panicked, stopped the performance, apologized for the technical difficulties. That's what most people would have done. Instead, Madonna threw the dead microphone to the side and kept performing. No voice, fine. She'd dance. She moved across that stage like her life depended on it, which it did. Pure performance, pure energy, pure confidence. The crowd lost their minds. People started cheering, dancing harder. 47 people watching something they'd never seen before. A performer who refused to let anything stop her. 45 seconds later, the microphone came back on. Madonna grabbed it and yelled, "Did you miss me?" The crowd roared. She finished the song to a standing ovation from all 47 people in that tiny club. Madonna stood backstage after the performance, soaked in sweat and shaking. She'd just performed her first professional show. She'd earned $50, the most money she'd ever made in a single night. Mark Cummings came backstage. That was something. Good something or bad something? Madonna asked. I don't know yet. Mark admitted. But everyone's asking who you are. What Madonna didn't know was that someone else had been in the club that night. Seymour Stein, founder of Sire Records, had come to Danceteria to check out a different artist. He'd barely noticed the unknown girl with the cassette player when she first took the stage. But when that microphone failed, and Madonna kept performing anyway, Seymour Stein took out a notebook and wrote down her name. 2 weeks later, Madonna got a call. Sire Records wanted to meet with her. She thought it was a joke. It wasn't. Seymour Stein was in the hospital recovering from heart surgery. He didn't want to wait to meet this girl who'd performed for 47 people with a cassette player and no fear. He told his assistant to bring her to the hospital. Now, Madonna arrived at the hospital carrying her guitar, still not entirely sure this was real. She walked into Seymour Stein's room. He was in a hospital bed, hooked up to IVs, recovering from surgery. "Play me that song," he said. Everybody. So Madonna, standing in a hospital room, performed Everybody for a man in a hospital bed, while nurses gathered at the door to listen. When she finished, Seymour said, "I'll give you a deal. Right now. Today." Madonna signed her first record contract on December 30, 1982, for a $5,000 advance. The paperwork was spread across Seymour Stein's hospital bed tray. 5 years of struggle, 5 years of hearing no, 5 years of poverty and hunger and doubt, and it all changed in a hospital room because she'd refused to stop performing when her microphone died. Everybody was released as a single in 1982. It climbed the dance charts quickly, getting played in clubs across New York, then across the country. But something interesting happened. Radio DJs and clubgoers assumed Madonna was black. The song was so funky, so deeply rooted in dance and R&B influences, that most people listening assumed the singer had to be a black woman. Madonna's record label didn't correct this assumption initially. Neither did Madonna. She later explained why. "I wanted the song to succeed on its own merit, not because of how I looked, or what race people thought I was. Music should be judged by music." When people finally saw Madonna, white, Italian-American, from Michigan, some were shocked, others were angry. But the song was already a hit, and Madonna had made her point. Good music transcends categories. December 1983. 1 year after that first performance, Madonna was now genuinely famous. Holiday and Borderline were hits. Her face was on magazine covers. MTV was playing her videos. She called Mark Cummins and asked if she could do a surprise show at Danceteria, same stage where she'd started. "Sure," Mark said, "but it won't be 47 people this time." He was right. When word leaked that Madonna might perform, 400 people showed up. Lines wrapped around the block. People who'd ignored her a year ago were now desperate to see her. Madonna took that same stage and performed Everybody again. But this time, she had a full band, backup dancers, and a professional sound system. Everything was different. Except her energy. That was the same. That refusal to be anything less than extraordinary was still there, just amplified. After the show, Mark asked her, "Do you remember that first night, when the mic cut out? Every second of it." Madonna said, "That's when I knew I'd make it, because nothing could stop me. Not even broken equipment." Over the years, dozens of people have claimed they were at Madonna's first Danceteria performance. "I was there when she had nothing," they say. The club only held about 100 people, and there were 47 there that night, but somehow, hundreds remember being present. A few who were actually there have shared their memories. She had no band, just a cassette player. It should have been pathetic, but somehow it wasn't. When her mic died, I thought that was it. Show over. But she just kept going like nothing happened. I'd never seen anything like it. I knew she'd be famous. Maybe not Madonna level famous, but something. She had that thing you can't teach. Mark Cummins, who gave Madonna that first chance, reflected years later, there were 47 people there that night. None of them knew who Madonna would become, except Madonna. When she came off that stage, she told me, "This is just the beginning," and she was right. Danceteria closed in 1986. The building went through various incarnations over the years, but music historians never forgot what happened there in December 1982. In 2019, a small plaque was placed on the building's exterior. Here in December 1982, Madonna performed her first professional show. 47 people watched. The world would soon follow. That stage, that broken microphone, that cassette player, they're all part of music history now. Not because of the equipment, but because of what Madonna proved. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You just need to start. Madonna's net worth today is estimated at $850 million. She's the highest-grossing solo touring artist of all time. She's sold over 300 million records. She's influenced generations of artists across every genre. But none of it happens without that first step. Without the decision to get on a bus to New York with $35. Without 5 years of poverty and rejection. Without 3 months of showing up at Danceteria every night. Without saying yes to a Saturday night show at a nearly empty club. That $35 wasn't just bus fare. It was a bet on herself. A statement that she'd rather fail trying in New York than succeed at anything else, anywhere else. In 1982, Madonna had nothing. No band, no money, no connections, no backup plan. Just a cassette player, a microphone, and the kind of belief in herself that looks like delusion until it works. When her microphone failed in front of 47 people, she didn't stop. She didn't apologize. She didn't make excuses. She danced. She performed. She made 47 people in a half-empty club believe they were watching something special, because they were. The lesson isn't that everyone who performs for 47 people will become Madonna. The lesson is that Madonna became Madonna because she performed for 47 people like she was already playing stadiums. The confidence came first. The success followed. Today, thousands of artists are waiting for their big break before they start, waiting for the right producer, the right opportunity, the right equipment, the right moment. Madonna didn't wait. She grabbed a cassette player, walked into a club, and changed music history in front of 47 people who mostly weren't paying attention. That's not luck. That's not talent. That's decision. The decision to start before you're ready, to perform before you're perfect, to bet everything on yourself when you have nothing to bet. In 1977, A 19-year-old girl with $35 got off a bus in New York City. In 1982, she performed her first professional show for 47 people. By 1984, she was famous. By 1985, she was a superstar. By 1990, she was an icon. But it all started with 47 people, a cassette player, and a broken microphone. If this story of starting from nothing and creating everything moved you, subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Share this with someone who's waiting for permission to start. The world doesn't need more people waiting for perfect conditions. It needs more people who'll perform for 47 people like they're already stars. Because that's how you become one.